Hi Virgo, welcome to your July 2018 reading. We have a Celtic Cross spread in front of us, which is normally a 10 card spread, but you did get some extra cards, one in the position of the main situation, one in the near future, and one in the environment. So we have a lot of messages to get to, and I also pulled an oracle card as usual that we'll read at the end to help tie everything together. This looks mostly to be related to career and finances, but we'll see as we go through it. All right, and the main situation, you had two cards, which were Ten of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. So to me, it could be saying that if this is career related, that you're competing for a job potentially, or you're just trying to get into a competitive field in general. Maybe you already are in a competitive field and you're already in this position, but people are kind of vying for that position, so there could just be a competitive vibe in the work atmosphere right now. If this is relationship wise, it could just be that you're having arguments with someone regarding stability. Maybe you want to bring the relationship to a more stable level and they don't. That's a possibility. But I'm really feeling it's a lot more likely that this is going to be related to finances. This is also a card of the first 10 degrees of Leo. So this could also be saying that you'll get some kind of offer of financial increase towards the end of this month. So that's certainly a possibility as well. The reason I say that could be the case is in the challenge position, you have the Ace of Pentacles. So this could be a new offer being made to you on a financial level. It's usually something that's going to be stable and grounded. Even if it is a relationship, same thing. It could be that someone offers you something more stable. So the challenge may be to wait for that offer rather than fighting. So your challenge might be to try to withdraw from any conflict, whether it is competing for a job, whatever the case may be. And I think that's probably the position and the attitude that you took towards it because of the card in the position of the past, but we'll get to that soon. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling that this is relating to. Could just be a new job opened up, maybe even at your existing company. Maybe you have an opportunity for promotion and everyone is really trying to fight for the spot because it's a valued spot, and you're trying to withdraw from it and just sit back and see what happens. There are a few cards that point to that, such as this one here. Like I said, that there, but we'll get to that. In the foundation position, we have the Devil card. This is the major arcana card for Capricorn. That's your fifth house. So maybe this is a creative project. Maybe you've started a new creative venture in a very competitive field and you're struggling to make ends meet with it as of right now. So you're trying to wait that out. That could be potentially what's going on there, because with Capricorn being your fifth house, that being a house of creativity, also general luck and gambling as well, just a few different things it could be. But if that's the case, it could just be saying that you're not seeing the results of that just yet, and it could be because right now Saturn, which is the natural ruler of Capricorn, is actually moving backwards in Capricorn. So that could just be slowing things down even more. But usually there's a reason for that, and that's usually for you to see any holes in the approach that you're taking and solidify it even better, so when it goes back forward again, you could really see progress made. But you would have to work for it. That's how Saturn works. In the position of the past, you have the Six of Wands. So this could just be saying that you were feeling victorious at a certain point. Maybe you were getting praise. Maybe it's even that you already got that new job offer, and maybe people are upset about it because they feel like maybe they should have gotten the job as well. Whatever the case may be, that can happen sometimes. But whatever the case may be, I feel like in the past you were feeling this way. And maybe even this refers to you applying for that job, whether it's a promotion, a new job altogether, asking for a raise. You were just feeling confident in yourself and feeling like your work would speak for itself and you'd receive praise for it, and that should put you out in front. In the position of the present, energy, we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. So this is usually my Aries card. Could be saying that you're dealing with an Aries that's feeling out of sorts right now. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is currently going retrograde. So when your rulers go in retrograde, you guys notice from when Mercury goes retrograde, you could feel a little out of sorts. So they could be feeling low on energy, maybe just more irritable because of that, and maybe they don't even realize that's why. Um, but the other angle to look at there is if we want to look at where Mars is going backwards, it's going backwards in your sixth house, which is a house of work, and it's actually the house you naturally rule. So you could really be feeling this way as well. You know, to have the ruler of Aries going backwards in your sixth house, you could feel like that's really slowing things up in your career area. And maybe it has you even feeling like, you know what, I don't even want to compete for this job. It's, you know, maybe it's getting a little bit too much for you, and you're just feeling like you don't even have the energy to push forward in that regard. Um, we also had the Four of Cups at the bottom of the deck, so it might even be that the offer they gave to you, you felt that it wasn't good enough, so you're just kind of pulling back and just seeing how everything unfolds. That's certainly a possibility. But if this is someone you're dealing with, let's say if it's in a relationship, especially if it's in Aries, just keep in mind that their ruler is going backwards right now, so they might just be feeling out of sorts and irritable, cranky, and not even know why. And so if there's like a blow up, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal breaker. I think you guys can work past it. You just might have to ride that energy out a bit rather, and keep in mind that that's what they could be going through. In the position of the near future, you have two cards here as well. You have the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Cups. So this is actually a Sagittarius card for me usually, and then this is a Cancer card for me typically. So it could be saying when we're in the time of Cancer, which is right now, maybe you're getting re-energized and moving forward rapidly, taking action. But I don't necessarily feel that's the case with all the surrounding cards. Could be that you're trying to move things forward with the Cancer, or maybe a Cancer is trying to move forward with you. But there's also some common ground here with these two cards for you as a Virgo. And that's because Sagittarius is your fourth house as a Virgo, and then Cancer is the natural ruler of the fourth house. So that could just be saying that that's the connection going on. So maybe this lunar activity coming up in the sign of Cancer is going to benefit you in some way. For example, you'll have a new moon partial solar eclipse around the 13th of the month. And your 11th house, that could also be hopes and wishes. So maybe something that you've really been hoping for, that'll move forward around the time of that eclipse. That could be what this is pointing to there. On a more mundane level, though, it could even be that you have a relationship take off quickly with the Cancer, or maybe a Sagittarius makes an emotional offer toward you. But just keep in mind with the Knights, they can sometimes move in and then move out as quickly as they moved in. So it might not be something long lasting if that's the case. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Three of Wands. So this could be saying that you're either feeling this way, which I kind of pointed to, saying that with this card here, you're feeling like, all right, everyone's going crazy and competing over this job. I'm in the mood where I want to let my work speak for itself. I don't really feel like getting into this petty battle. You know, you're just kind of kicking back with the thought that, you know what, I'll let my work speak for itself, see how things unfold. So you're just kind of leaning back a little bit. This is a card of letting your ships come in. That's why I say that that could be the mentality that you have right now. With the Ace of Pentacles there, it could be that, let's say they made you an offer that seems pretty good, but you're looking for a little something more. So your challenge is to hold out. So maybe that's in the position you're feeling you're in. You're like, okay, well, let me just wait this out, see if they come back with another offer. With the Four of Cups on the bottom of the deck there, that could certainly be the case. And if it's a relationship, same thing. You know, maybe you had a fire sign that is feeling a little out of sorts. Maybe they get it together a little later in the month and make you the offer you're looking for. So that was your, while you're in this position, you're waiting that out. In the position of the environment, we had two cards here as well. We have the Moon and we have the Queen of Swords. So the Moon is the natural ruler of Cancer, so it could be pointing to Cancer once again. And then Queen of Swords is usually my Libra card, but it could be any air sign. So what this is kind of pointing me towards, rather, is to say that towards the end of the month, there's going to be a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. So that could be what these two cards are pointing to, saying that whatever's going on here, if you're in a position where you're like, I don't even want to fight this out, I'm just going to sit back and let things unfold naturally, could be saying if you do that around that time of that full moon towards the end of the month, you should hear communication about this. Being that it's a Libra card as well, normally that could be pointing to that whatever communication you do hear will be fair. So let's say they did make you an offer and it wasn't quite what you were looking for. Maybe they'll come back with a better offer towards the end of the month. Or maybe if you withdrew from this job offer that everyone was fighting over and said, I'm not even going to bother, maybe something even better pops up towards the end of the month and that ends up working out in your favor. That's a possibility. This can mean deception, but I feel like in combination with this card, I think that that's very unlikely to be what's going on there. So I don't think there's going to be deception coming in the environment position. And I also say that normally with the moon card, I think of it as, some people say it's deception, but it's more that you just have to feel things out a little bit more. Kind of like if you wake up in a dark room that you're unfamiliar with. When the light was on, you were perfectly fine walking around the room without a worry, but now with the lights off, you might be a little more hesitant. You're feeling around to make sure you don't stub your toe on anything, reaching, trying to find a light switch, for example. None of that moved around on you since you went to sleep, but it's just that you're not trusting what you're seeing because the lighting is low. So that could be it. It could just be saying feel the situation out a little more. There's some cards here pointing to you just should withdraw a little bit and let things unfold. Maybe not be completely inactive, but take your time. All right, in the position of hopes and fears, we have the Hermit. So this is the major arcana card for Virgo. So this could be saying that you hope that people see the work that you've put in. For example, if it is, all right, everyone's going crazy competing for this job. I feel like I've put in a lot of work, right? That could be what this is pointing to. I really worked hard. I feel like I've proven myself in that regard, and hopefully people see the work I put in, and that'll be enough for me, right? You might just be feeling like you don't want to get involved in this huge competition. And the good thing is, um, Venus will actually be transiting through your sign this month. I think it gets there around the time of the new moon solar eclipse, which is going to be around the 12th of July. So around the 10th of July, let's say, until around the 10th of August, give or take a few days here or there, you should have Venus in your sign. That could certainly help as well, as far as, that'll help you be seen in a more positive light. And then in the outcome position, we have the Two of Swords. Now, this is actually another Libra card, but it could just be saying that you're trying to make a decision, or you're reluctant to. You're trying to wait it out and really think about it. This could be saying that it's what it's encouraging you to do, actually. And again, we look at the moon in the background there, so could be connected with this new moon coming up and then the full moon at the end of the month. Could just be saying that you'll hear news about this one way or the other. If you really are feeling like you put in the work, I don't see how you pushing forward would necessarily benefit the situation in a positive or a negative way. So you might as well just sit back and let things unfold if that's what you're feeling. Like I said, that eclipse coming up in your sixth house towards the very end of the month, that could really push things forward. All right. And now let's take a look at the oracle card you have. The card is peace. So if this is some kind of conflict, that could be even more proof saying that maybe you should withdraw, but we'll read the message anyway just to see specifically what it's referring to. And the number is 23. Let's take a look at the artwork for a second. All right, and I'll read the message from the book and we'll summarize everything real quick. It says essential meanings: freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. The Oracle's message: it doesn't get any better than this. A quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. So that could be what this is saying too. Everyone else is getting all wrapped up and getting into conflicts and competing and getting into ego battles, and you're just in the mentality of like, you know what, I'm just gonna lay back and not even get involved in all this. And if that's the case, this message certainly seems to support that that's the way to go. We did briefly touch on relationships, so for those of you, if this did resonate as more of a relationship reading, I'll read that message. It says, when two people are in true alignment with one another, they have an innate harmony between them. They are as two perfectly tuned instruments playing together. Sometimes it's impossible to tell who is who. Peace is yours, and it is to be savored. So I didn't get a huge relationship vibe from this, but there are some things that could lead to that if we're saying that maybe because you didn't engage in a conflict, you realized, okay, they're just going through something right now, let's say, then they come back around, right, a little bit later on, and things pan out for you. They come forward and speak with you honestly and fairly. Maybe they make it up to you, for example, so that could be what happens there. But yeah, if it was an offer that you received initially, let's say if we're going with relationships, could say that you weren't necessarily satisfied with that offer. So maybe, again, going back to what we said about you feeling like, well, what I have to offer should speak for itself. So maybe they come back and offer you something more with more substance, which would be the Ten of Pentacles. And then you're like, okay, I'll accept that, and you move forward from there. For those of you this related more financially, which is certainly the main vibe I was getting here, we have a prosperity message. It says, this is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how you create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough, for you are in peaceful harmony with spirit, and it shows in your work. I mean, that really supports what we were saying if we are talking about career, saying, hey, this is where you were feeling like, okay, I don't even feel like engaging in this competition. The work that I put in should speak for itself. Here you are saying, I'm just going to let things unfold how they will. I'm going to sit back. If they made you an offer that you weren't happy with, maybe you're deciding to wait it out. And if that's the case, it looks like things might work out in your favor in that regard. Especially, that last sentence, just being is enough, it says. So there you go. So what you've been doing, stick with it. I think that's what it's saying. Don't take any drastic action, like we said, especially in the 6th house with Mars going backwards. If you tried to push forward too forcefully anyway, you'd feel like you were going against the grain. It would probably tire you out, and then you would end up feeling like that, actually. So just try to wait it out. Venus transiting through your sign is going to be a good thing. Like I said, next month it'll actually be moving into your 2nd house, so that might even help more as far as finances go. So even if you have to wait it out a little longer, I'm getting the vibe that things will work out in your favor, so just keep that in mind. All right, that's all the messages I had, so we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month.